Hello everyone, I'm Shafraz. I'm your math educator in Upgate Education. I'm doing Cambridge and Edexcel OL Math. I'm having experience of more than 5 years of teaching Cambridge and Edexcel Math. And also I'm having my bachelor's degree, which is related to biological science. Okay, today I'm going to explain a question where I saw a different type of questions related to the quadratic equation. This question has come from one of the Cambridge past paper. So when we dive into this question, you can see there is a picture, and in that picture there are two rectangles and a shaded region is there. So we call, if we see this type of questions, we call this as the shaded region question. There is a strategy that we want to do for this question. Like if you see a type like this, what you need to do is you get the area of the biggest shape and subtract it by the area of the smallest shape. I'll repeat it again. You get the area of the biggest shape and subtract the area of the smallest shape if they ask you to identify or determine what is the area of the shaded region. But here, the question is little different. They were asking you to form an equation. When you see the equation, it's look like a quadratic equation. It's look like a quadratic equation. So you want to derive a quadratic equation as 2x squared minus 15x minus 22 is equal to 0. So you might wonder how we can get this equation. And they have given us a clue. They said the biggest rectangle, the width of the biggest rectangle is x. You can see in the picture. And they have mentioned in wording the length of the large rectangle is 4 times its height. Okay, so the height or the width they said as x. Then that means your width has to be, or your length has to be 4x. So this has to be 4x. So you can put it as 4x. And the width of the shaded border is 3 centimeters. So in both sides, it's 3, 3, and 3, 3. You can see it's 3, 3, and all the sides it's 3, 3, 3. Okay. And then they have mentioned something else. The area of the small rectangle is 80 centimeters square. Okay, this is the clue to reduce your timing. So sometimes we can calculate the area of the biggest rectangle, or else sometimes we will get both together, and sometimes it's time consuming. So what we can do, since they have only mentioned about the small rectangle, they didn't mention about the shaded region. They just mentioned about the small rectangle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get the equation in terms of these algebraic expression for the small rectangle. What I'm going to do, go down a little. I'm putting area is equal to, as we know, area is equal to length time width, that is for the rectangle. And the length is what they said for the biggest rectangle, it's 4x. And you have to subtract this 3 and this 3, so it should be 4x minus 6. 4x minus 6. And the width or the height? For the biggest one, it's 6. And they said in both sides, it's 3 and 3. You have to reduce 3 and 3. So altogether, that is also minus 6. X minus 6, which is equal to, they said, 80 centimeters square. So I'll just put it as 80. I just wanted to get this as the algebraic expression. Now the first step is completed, but I don't know whether this is correct or not. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to expand this bracket and I'm going to simplify. How are you going to expand? Multiply this by this. Multiply this by this. And then this minus 6 multiplied by this x. And this 6 multiplied by this 6. Okay. Now I'm going to multiply 4x into x. Both are positive numbers. So it would be 4x square. And then 4x into minus 6, it would be 24x. 4 into 6 is 24, minus 24x. And minus 6 into x, that is minus 6. And minus 6 into minus 6, two same symbol. So it would be plus 6 into 6 would be 36, which is equal to 80. Now, when we see this equation, just look at this equation. It says on the right-hand side, it's 0. So I'm going to take this 80 to my left-hand side. So I'll put this as 4x squared because there's no squares. And there are two minuses, 24x and minus 6x. It would be obviously minus 30x. And I have a plus 36. And I'll put it as minus 80, which is equal to 0. And then I reform my equation, 4x squared minus 30x and plus 36 minus 80 will give me minus 44, which is equal to 0. Now, when I see the question, they're asking me to simplify. So if I see all the numbers are even numbers. So you can divide it by 2. The whole equation, you divide it by 2. And finally, you'll get this particular equation. 2x squared minus 15x minus 22 is equal to 0. So you'll get 4 marks. One is to determine the area, and the other one is to simplify the bracket and get that 80 to the other side and simplifying it and giving it as it is, whatever the question they're asking. If you give it as it is, you will get your 4 marks together. So that's it for today. We'll see you on another session.